Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another live conversation. If you're new to this channel, welcome, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, listener, subscriber, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Happy to have you here. As always, Voices in Education is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. We do that in a respectful way to ensure that we're maintaining our safe space, our safe community, where everyone feels a sense of belonging and where you feel valued. All right, so the conversation for this evening is about JPS, Jamaica Public Service, in the context of the high, electricity bills that customers have been receiving in Jamaica. All right. And just to add some context to that, in the sense that they have not had, power for some persons for days, weeks, and maybe, I don't know if any person or places might have gone over a month without, electricity as a result of the passing of Hurricane Beryl in Jamaica. And we know that, it caused a lot of damage to property, to power lines for sure. And I believe some places are still without power. Some customers are still without power to this day. And so the big part here where a lot of persons are concerned about and are complaining about, and rightly so, is the fact that they are receiving, bills that are so high. And I am being told based on, some information received, estimated bills. And they have been for some people weeks without, power. So how come JPS? So that is a big question. How come? That's the question. And a lot of persons, they are concerned and, pretty much, talking about this situation. All right. And for sure, they are wanting to, I guess, pressure JPS, rightly so, to do something about this because it is absolutely necessary, right, for us to bring this to the fore. We can't just sit and just take this as if, nothing is happening. And, this goes to show because some customers, they have always complained, about JPS and, bills that they have received in terms of, payment and the cost. And, they have gone there, for example, and haven't had, I guess the redress that they're looking for in terms of a solution, right? And now is really showing us that something has been going wrong. There is also this notion too that, the paying customers, they tend to pay for the non-paying customers, and it's never a lose situation for the company. So those are some of the different perspectives that has been coming out, and I just want to let you know by way of information that the Ministry of Energy, right, the Ministry of Energy in Jamaica, they have set up a dedicated email address, all right, or perhaps more than one, all right, to receive complaints, all right, from persons regarding your latest, electricity bill. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try my best to pop that in the chat so that you can definitely share, or if you have concerns, you can send an email to the email address or addresses that I'm going to place in the chat, all right, in a little bit. And so this is from the Ministry of Energy. So hopefully they have persons who are there, monitoring and, providing the appropriate response and, follow up for these emails. And so just give me a sec, guys. Let me just try and get this in the chat for you. Again, welcome one, welcome all. All right. If you're just tuning in, please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button. All right. Would really appreciate your support. And so I am just going to pop the information there in the chat. All right. So you will see the email addresses. All right. So you can send your concern there. All right. And I suppose you can do a attachment of, your latest bill to support, whatever it is that you're sharing with the ministry there. All right. So again, if you're just tuning in, I would love to hear from you. So don't be afraid to give us a call. In a little bit, I'm going to put the WhatsApp number up. All right, pin that in the chat so you can give us a call. Welcome, Joaquin. Welcome. And Joaquin is saying that, the bill is very high. Highlightly, okay, I get that. And that JPS not going good. The government them should never sell out JPS. Them are go hard power with Jaja. And I can definitely understand that. All right, for sure. Sam, hey, we welcome. What was your electricity bill like? And so, guys, remember that the email address is in there. If you want to make a complaint directly to the Ministry of Energy, you can send them an email. So I just placed that email in the chat, and perhaps I should try and pin that for a little bit. I'm just going to see if I can pin it. Yeah, there you go. So I pinned that there. So you can send an email to them directly. And what they're asking you to do is to provide a brief description of your issue along with a copy of your last two electricity bills. All right. So when submitting your complaint, all right, your complaint, ensure that you submit a brief description. So in the email, tell them the issue there briefly, and two, all right, your two last electricity bills. That's what the ministry is asking you to do to facilitate a swift resolution. So I guess they're going to help. And so, according to the minister here, Darrell Vaz, and this is from the Jamaica Gleaner, and I quote, this is what Vaz is quoted saying here. It is truly unfortunate that persons who have already been significantly impacted by the passage of Hurricane Beryl are now being presented with inaccurate electricity bills. All right. So, and he's saying here, he continued, our priority is to ensure that every affected customer receives the necessary support and that any issues related to their electricity bills are addressed promptly and fairly. All right. Kiwi saying, oh, your bill is normal. Okay, so that's good. That's good. That's good, Kiwi. So you ain't complaining. All right, so that's good. So again, the email address there is in the chat. You can definitely reach out to the ministry and they want you to provide a brief description of the issue along with your two last bills. So the two most, yeah, the recent bills, the two more recent ones. So I guess this month and I guess the one that you would have gotten before the hurricane. All right. So okay, we saying no complain. All right. He's not complaining. All right. So for sure. All right. So that's good. All right. So to kind of balance, and I don't know if it's a balance, but just to share what JPS is saying, right? They're pretty much saying that the energy cost has gone up. All right. And because of fuel charges. So that's what I mean there. So that's the issue. That's what JPS is saying, and I still don't get it because if people aren't using it, how is it that they're paying for something that they aren't using? All right. So that's pretty much my understanding of JPS, I guess, defense in terms of the higher electricity bills. They are as a result of increased fuel charges from using automotive diesel oil. All right. So that is what JPS is saying. The context just so not so all right, there you go. The WhatsApp number is on screen. So I would definitely love to and definitely give me a call. All right. Love to hear from you. Don't be afraid to call me and tell me the things them. Let us talk. All right. Max Morgan, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. And let me know what's your electricity bill like? So far we have KW here sharing in the chat that his bill was normal, not complaining. And Joaquin was sharing, that bill was very, very high. All right. So would love to hear from you. And again, I shared in the chat, it's pinned in the chat there, the dedicated email addresses where you can share, your concerns with the Ministry of Energy. All right. And what they're asking you to do is to send a brief description of the issue and your last two JPS bills. All right. And thanks for liking Max Morgan. And sometimes says 7 grand normal. The problem I be a guy normal day, Okay, I don't know, just saying. But at least you're saying, it's within the range. But perhaps it should be less. How long did you lose power for, Kiwi? Because it should not be, it should be lower, right? I guess that's what a lot of people are saying. And in the meantime, I'm gonna try and go to this clip here from uh this JLPA. I think it's Carencia here, and in terms of what she said. So both sides are sharing. One side, I think, I don't remember who, but I'll get there, from the PNP, was saying that the government did not, deal with the issue, correctly. And I see the LOL there, 7 days. So perhaps it should be less than the 7 grand. So Carencia Morrison, all right, JLP spokesperson, all right, said in a statement released to the media on Tuesday that the reports that the JPS has applied the objectionable increases to the bills of some customers who have not had electricity for several weeks is particularly disturbing. All right, and let me see if I can get that little clip up and running for you guys so that you can hear what she has to say. Just give me a moment here. Let me just open this up.
We have heard JPS citing a temporary increase in their cost of fuel while the increases have been applied to electricity bills. However, in the circumstances of a natural disaster, which caused many to be without electricity for a long time, we are of the view that it is unconscionable and unacceptable to impose such onerous additional costs on the people of Jamaica. Enough is enough. We support calls by the Energy Minister Beryl on behalf of the government to get the Office of the Utilities Regulation to hold the JPS to account for the questionable major increases in electricity bills. We also support calls for legislative amendment to increase the scope for utility companies in Jamaica to be held to greater account. In the meantime, we strongly urge JPS to exercise good conscience and immediately roll back these announced increases. We have heard.
All right, so that was Carencia Morrison there. And it's really hard for a lot of persons to kind of digest that, to say, okay, we're getting these, bills, high bills, and they have been without power for days, right? And I'm seeing, Max Morgan, you're sharing that your family in South Manchester got back like about a week ago. I would love to hear from you. Did they receive a bill and what it is like? Because that would be interesting to find out. Do they have concerns there? Would love to hear a little bit more from you there, Max Morgan. Welcome one, welcome all. If you're just tuning in, please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button. All right, so welcome, welcome, welcome. And again, JPS, they are claiming that due to some temporary increase in their cost of fuel, that is why they have applied the increases, all right, to the bills, all right? So just to let you know that. All right, so that is pretty much what they're sharing. All right, so the Light and Power Company, they said on Monday that the recent increase is primarily due to a higher fuel charge and to a much lesser extent, a higher billing exchange rate. All right. And this is again according to the Jamaica Gleaner. All right. So just to let you know, so they're saying it's a higher fuel charge and to a lesser extent based on the exchange rate. All right. So JPS there, we're asking the question still, how come? All right. Okay, we I see a message there over on. Okay, good. I get you. All right, welcome one, welcome all. Please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button as we continue to grow stronger together. All right, so the big question is how come? And guys, the phone number is on screen. Give me a call. Don't be afraid to give me a call. Would love to hear from you. All right, so give us a call. We would love to hear from you. And I'm just seeing an article here that I'm just going to share. It's from the Jamaica Gleaner. So they're saying the JPS, all right, build a community center in St. Elizabeth, approximately 71,000. All right, though the facility had electricity for only 2 days out of the billing cycle because Hurricane Beryl had ravaged the structure. 2 days, and that's 71 grand. And this is a facility in St. Elizabeth, right? 2 days 2 days, $71,000. 71 grand. No, not 30 grand, 71. All right, just for 2 days. And let me see, that matter coupled with several complaints reported to the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport formed the basis of a notice to JPS that an investigation has been ordered into its post-burial billing practices. All right, so just to share that, Portfolio Minister Darrell Vaz told JPS CEO Hugh Grant in a letter dated August 19 that the ministry has compelling reasons to be concerned about the complaints received from customers who reported large anomalies, in their electricity bills following Hurricane Beryl. All right, he singled out the community center, calling the sum unjust and untenable, given that the facility has been without power since July 3rd. All right, so again, based on this facility, what the facility is sharing is that, it's 71 grand, 71K, and they only had power just 2 days out of that billing cycle. And what Vaz is saying here, as Jamaica's sole electricity provider, JPS is responsible for maintaining transparency, accuracy, and fairness in all aspects of its operations, particularly when charging customers during periods of emergency or natural catastrophe. All right, so again, it's just serious. And so that is the big question there. How come? If you're just tuning in, welcome, welcome, guys. So we're just here trying to catch up with you and just to share some information too. That if you have a concern regarding your JPS bill, you can send an email, all right, to the Ministry of Energy. The email addresses, they are pinned in the chat. What they want you to share in that email is a brief description of the issue along with your two last JPS bills, all right? So you need to send that so that they can facilitate some quick, resolution for you guys. So just remember that. And, we're always here to share, a way to move forward. That is always important when we are confronted with challenges. How come and how can we move forward? So that's one way there. And of course, I guess you have OUR, but I guess if you go through the Ministry of Energy, given that they are trying to help in some way, I feel that perhaps that might expedite the process. And guys, the government will work for you now. Election is coming up, so I suspect they'll do the work. So now is not a bad time to just go with them in that light. In that light, should I say no pun intended there? In that light, So yeah, if you have a big issue, just ensure that you reach out to the Ministry of Energy regarding, that issue. All right, so that is one concern there. And let me see here. Looks like the same Gleaner article here. A second customer told the Gleaner that his bill moved from $13,934.26 to $32,339.29. The man who owns a gas station said the fuel charge also jumped out at him. It had seen a 30%, I guess, increase year. All right, so just to share that as well. Another customer said his previous bill amounted to $16,744.47. For this month, he's been asked to pay $24,502.64. All right, so just to let you know, the fuel charge moved from $24 and about 34 cents per kilowatt to $32 and about 17 cents per kilowatt. All right, so and what this customer is saying is that how I look at this is JPS trying to recover their money from Hurricane Beryl of what they need to pay out in terms of paying contractors. All right, what poles they need to replace. I am not home in the days. I leave my house at 7 in the morning and reach back home at 8 in the night. So for 12 hours, I am not home. So how is it that bill, the in your electricity bill is as a result of the fuel charge, all right, and to a lesser extent, the exchange rate. All right. So just to share that in the context of this conversation, and and that's the billing exchange rate. All right. So that's what JPS is sharing in that context. And let me just share a little bit here because they brought the Minister of Finance into this conversation at some point. So let me just go here. So JPS, I guess, is sharing that the recent increase is primarily due to a higher fuel charge and to a much lesser extent a higher billing exchange rate, the company added, noting the move in the fuel charge and indicating that the billing exchange rate on bills moved from 156 3021 in July to 157 5321 in August. All right, the fuel charge that customers see on their bills is heavily influenced by the actual costs associated with purchasing the fuel used to generate electricity for the period. All right. The JPS indicated that as a precautionary measure against potential damage, New Fortress Energy, the liquefied natural gas LNG supplier, had to take the gas facility offline just before the hurricane. The switch of dependent generating plants from LNG to the significantly more expensive fuel, automotive diesel oil, ADO, to generate electricity for some days resulted in higher associated costs reflected in customers' bills. All right, so what JPS is saying is that they had to switch from LNG to automotive diesel, all right, just before the hurricane. And so that too is a big factor in terms of the higher electricity bills. All right. However, Dr. Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and Public Service, has disputed the JPS's explanation, pointing out that the power company had advised him of the needed switch and requested a waiver of the special consumption tax on ADO for electricity generation in order to restore normalcy. All right. So my what I'm getting here is that yes, JPS advised them of the switch, but they got a waiver in terms of the is it the GCT? The GCT, I believe. All right. So the consumption tax. So some tax, the special consumption tax. So I guess they did not pay that. So but still they're passing on, high cost to customers. So let's just continue here with this article. The Minister of Finance responded and communicated the application of the concessionary rate of $4 and about 56 cents per liter, down from $44.90 per liter for the month of July, as requested by the JPS. Right? Last month, it was indicated that JPS customers were not expected to pay additional charges for extensive damage to the company's infrastructure following Beryl's passage amid a US 50 million insurance type fund to which the utility company has access. The OUR had approved a drawdown of US 4.5 million, all right, from the Electricity Disaster Fund for JPS to prepare for the hurricane season. The company had requested US 7 million. JPS subsequently revealed that 94 transmission structures, all right, 2,602 light poles, 4,287 conductors, 137 transformers, and 2,185 other transmission and distribution equipment were damaged as a result of Beryl. All right, welcome one, welcome all. Yesterday, all right, Philip Powell, opposition spokesperson on energy and climate change, urged the OUR to mandate that JPS withdraw all recently issued bills. So both sides, right, PNP and JLP, they're not, no one is siding with JPS at this point. And according to Powell, given the tremendous hardship faced by consumers, particularly following Hurricane Beryl, it is clear that something has gone fundamentally wrong with the JPS billing process, right? And so that is definitely important. And Max Morgan is saying, I wonder if the increase might also include costs incurred during Beryl. That's what persons are saying, and that's what I'm getting to. That JPS they don't want to lose any dollar, and so they're turning that back on people, their customers who were without electricity for days, and it's not their fault, and so that is another context there. So, with many households experiencing long periods of non usage of electricity, these exorbitant charges are not only unwarranted but also unacceptable. And I believe that was Paul there. Yes, guys, so it has been, a very sad time for a lot of persons. And, when I think about, family in St. Elizabeth and how long it took to hear from them, it's not good. And in another, I guess update here from the Gleaner, a customer Christopher Henry said his bill amount moved from $37,063.89 to $53,254.54. He said his consumption was on par with previous billing periods, but said there had been a significant increase in fuel charges. So that's what JPS is saying here. The cost of fuel is, was higher in terms of the switch from LNG to that diesel, if I'm remembering correctly, and to a lesser extent, the billing exchange rate. All right. So that's what, JPS is saying. But guys, how do you feel about this? Do you think that, this is something that should happen, and why no? And so that's a part of it too, in terms of the comeback. They're not even waiting to say, let's take a little now, a little bit and a little. No, it's like all or nothing. So, would love to hear from you further, guys. So if you'd love to give us a call, you can give us a call on that WhatsApp number there on screen, or you can also share in the chat. But, JPS needs to do better. And if it's a situation where they need to get more coverage in terms of insurance, where, when these things happen, because, Jamaica is prone to hurricanes, right? The hurricane season is, I guess we have all the way until November still. And so, get the necessary coverage that you need to ensure that if you have to replace all these things, transformers, poles, whatever it might be, then you are covered to do that and to pay for the additional help that you may need, because that's going to be significant if it is that you don't want to absorb, any cost. And, that comes with business. And perhaps it might be too expensive to have a coverage like that. And perhaps insurance companies may not want to offer that type of coverage to a country like Jamaica, given the fact that we are prone to hurricanes. Because Ruren and I would talk about insurance companies. They like to collect, but they don't necessarily like to pay out, and so they'll try to have exceptions, etc. And that too might be one of the reasons why JPS is in this position, if it is that they're not able to get the necessary support from an insurance company, or it's going to be sky high in terms of paying for that. But when it comes to this, I do not believe that customers should be the one absorbing, the cost. Think about you having to fix your roof, or, you don't have a place, you don't have a home anymore, and yet still you have to be dealing with the stress of JPS sending you a very high bill. You weren't able to sleep in your place for weeks because you were in a shelter. And by the time you reach home, you see this I bill from JPS. Oh, come. Why? And so when you think about just dealing with that, trying to get back in, and trying to get back to normal after the hurricane, that can be challenging too, in terms of just having to deal with this. It's stressful. It's stressful. So I don't know. JPS, fix it, man. Roll back. I am adding my voice to that. Roll it back. Definitely roll it back. You can do it. So just do the right thing. Now is not the time for that. How come? How come you're sending people high bills after a hurricane? How come? How come you're sending people high bills when they are not home? Or how come you're sending people high bills when they might be just on the billing cycle for 2 days? How come you're sending people high bill when they do not have electricity for days, weeks? How come? Why you do it? Why you do it, JPS? Why you do it? So guys, it's really that. And I'm just checking. Oh, I read that comment already. So it's really that, and I am hoping that JPS will fix things, and given the various calls, the various voices, in terms of JPS should do better. We are hoping that they will do better. All right. So again, we're just hoping for that JPS will do better, because it is important for them to do better. So I'm just checking here. So guys, before I wrap up, let me know if you have anything else you'd like to share. All right. So welcome, welcome one, welcome all. Please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button. And let us continue to go stronger together. The big question is, how come JPS? How come Wired Wheat? Wired Wheat JPS? Wired Wheat? Yeah, they can definitely do better. No excuse there, It's hard to know that persons are without power and they're getting these exorbitant, bills. How come? Come on, JPS, answer that. How come? Fix it, man, fix it. Roll it back, roll it back. All right? Yeah, so just checking here to see if I have any further updates to share here. But welcome one, welcome all. Let's continue to grow stronger together. And again, remember that there are two dedicated email addresses to share your concerns. All right. If you believe you have received an incorrect electricity bill, if you believe it's way too high based on what you have received, all right, I pinned that information in the chat so you can see the email addresses there. You're being asked to just send a brief description of the issue and also send a copy. So attach a copy of your two last, bills. And you can take a picture of the bill and attach it. You don't necessarily, if you don't have a scanner, use your phone and take a picture of it. Just ensure that you're capturing it properly. And, perhaps put it on the bill on a dark surface and take a photo of it and attach it to that email and send it to the Ministry of Energy. They want you to do that in terms of the attachment so they can facilitate a quick resolution for you. All right, so just remember that. And again, welcome one, welcome all. We're pretty much going to wrap up this conversation. So just check in, guys, if you have anything else you'd like to share in the chat. But again, JPS, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Outcome, it's the right thing to do. Do the right thing. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. You have to be fair. You have to be just. You have to be fair in your practices, your billing practices. It cannot be that so many persons are complaining, all right, after the hurricane has passed. It's indicating something else, JPS. All right, so you need to fix it, roll back these high costs, and they're saying again that it's as a result of the fuel and to a lesser extent the billing exchange rate. Those factors, I guess, contributed to the high bill that some persons have received in Jamaica. Is it fair? I don't think so. If persons are not using the power or the electricity, they should not be paying for it. And a lot of persons are sharing that they were without power for days, and yet still they are receiving, bills that are very, very high. All right. So, all right, guys. So I am not seeing any new comments here. And let me just check the chat in a little bit. And much more than are these bills estimated? That's what I'm being told. Based on the information received so far, they are estimated bills. and they're higher than their last bill. So that's another thing that you just can't understand. And I am wondering what is OUR doing? Is it that they don't have any teeth or bite? What is happening with OUR, in the context of, JPS? So welcome one, welcome all. And welcome Maureen. Maureen is sharing here in the chat, guys. My daughter got a bill for 25,000, so 25K at Grove Place. The last bill before this was $5,000. My. So what is JPS saying in that regard? So 25 from 5 to 25. From 5 to 25. So that is a big increase from 5 to 25. That's not right. That's not right. And Maureen, is it an estimated bill that you received, that your daughter received? So these are the things that persons are sharing in the chat there, and even, sorry guys, I'm just checking on some stuff there, and even other persons too. The bills are very high. How come JPS? How come? And it is definitely important for us to, advocate and lend our voices to the fact that JPS needs to do something right now. They need to roll back, and they should be wanting to give persons a break. Like, okay, storm passed, hurricane passed, you know what? A lot of persons got damaged. We took some time and still taking our time to restore power to everyone. So, given all of these, happening, perhaps let us just allow our customers to have this 1 month off. That's where JPS should be coming from, as opposed to, sending customers high bills in such a stressful time, right? So that to me is something else. But thank you so much for sharing that, Maureen. All right, guys. So not hearing from you and not seeing any new comments. So I am going to wrap this up, and I am just going to say to the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS Co, to, think about your customers, and especially the ones who have been significantly impacted, and for example, by losing power, they have been without power for days, some for weeks. How do you fix things, without adding extra pressure and stress to their plates? And that is definitely significant. It cannot be that persons are paying for something that they have not used. That is definitely a no, no. All right. So guys, before you leave, please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button. And as always, exercise self care. Take care of you. We'll definitely talk in the next live. And as always, tell a friend to tell another friend about the voices in education. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe as well. So that's it for this conversation. How come JPS? You need to go and fix things. Thanks, guys. And again, I will see you all in the next live. All right. So blessings and love, everyone. Bye for now.